A property finance company, TUHF, says the recent events in the Johannesburg CBD, including the tragic fire in Marshalltown that claimed 77 lives, raises concerns over poor urban management. The group says there's urgent need for improved management and intervention in the CBD to ensure safety for the people who live there. TUHF CEO Paul Jackson joins us now for a discussion on this. Paul, thank you for your time this afternoon. There have been a number of incidents in the inner city in recent time, from explosions to hijacked buildings on fire. What does this demonstrate to you?
Well, Clement, if you go back a little bit further, the xenophobic violence that arose out of the two hostels in the southeast, Wallerton and Van Gogh, were actually the beginning of this process. That local economy along Jewel Street was devastated, and there was no response from government in terms of some sort of reconstruction program. And we had the riots, we've had the explosion, we've had a breakdown of building control, and consequently. So what it really means is that the inner city and just basic urban management is deteriorating and has deteriorated. Since Amos Masonda was the mayor, he had a dedicated inner city office that really valued the role of the inner city in the metro's economy, in fact in Gauteng's economy. And since then, there's been this slow deterioration of basic services, coupled with a local government that increasingly doesn't listen to business, it doesn't listen to civil society. It's a deterioration that really needs to be addressed through collaboration, I guess.
Yeah. So there seems to be an agreement that these incidents then are not isolated. As you say, they're a consequence of a much longer standing issue, the poor urban management. I mean, the population is growing in the city. We've got more and more people flocking to these cities for opportunities as the economy also tightens. You know, these are cities that are old, they're overpopulated, so urbanization is happening at such a fast rate, and one wonders if government has a solid plan to respond.
Yeah, the Center for Development Enterprise estimates that 70% of South Africans will be urbanized by 2025. That's around the corner. I think that the Joburg inner city, basically government's taken its eye off the ball, whether it's political instability, whether it's the management and administration is found wanting. It really has taken the eye off the ball, because the inner city is not only a place where people can find well-located accommodation, that they can cut down on these enormous transport costs that ordinary people incur. It's also a vibrant African city. It's got businesses, it's got job creation. If we are serious about inclusive and transformative growth, it's going to be at a microeconomic level. And we saw such a prolonged period of urban regeneration, only to start being, it kind of faltered come 2015, and then sort of accelerated through 2019. So it doesn't appear that Joburg has a plan. Clement, I used to get invited a lot to World Bank World Bank seminar on the metros, the City Alliance, etc., etc. And the point I made, and it's exacerbated now, is Joburg is a city with world-class plans. The latest plan being the corridors of freedom are literally world-class. But it's a badly run city. And so you can have the best plans in the world, but if you're not executing, if you're not collaborating with business, with civil society, if you're not bringing especially the unions into, and labor and their role in resolving this, I think we're going to see more and more of these kind of incidents.
Yeah. You are an invested stakeholder in the inner city, Paul. Your organization has invested billions in town. You've also been promoting the city as an investment destination. But is it still an investment destination?
Well, it's lost its shine, Clement. You know, one thing I don't think people understand is that in order to invest, you have to be correctly positioned in the capital markets. After all, we borrow money to lend. You've got to be able to bring the insurance industry in with you. And this breakdown in urban management is affecting from that part of the continuum right down to ordinary people who are looking for a safe and a quality place to live that's affordable. And I don't think City understands the systemic approach, effect that this very lackadaisical approach to urban management is taking.
Yeah.
The city is an investment destination. It's well located right around the world, inner cities. Even Manhattan, New York in the 70s resembled Joburg's inner city in many, many parts. And look at it now. So the idea of regeneration and placing it back as a vibrant, inclusive economy where people can find jobs, where people can establish businesses, where people can live safely and work and play safely, and access to social services is so important. Clement, I might make just one more point, is that we have an urban sprawl crisis in South Africa. This development on the periphery is getting further and further and further away. And urban densification is national policy, and it's a policy of every single one of the metros. And thus, we need government to recognize that the city is the inner city and the city of Joburg, including places like Hillbrow, Berea, Yeoville, all of the surrounds, is a critical place. And Tufts invested over 5 billion rand in the inner city of Johannesburg since 2003. And we continue to invest. A lot's been made of Vannon Court. It's been in the media. It's this whole of criminality and very poor living. Now, Tufts funded, by the way, that building's allocated to one of our clients, and we stand ready to finance it. We've had architects, this is 2 years already, ready, have relooked at the building, how it can be reconfigured to sort of modern, smart living, etc., etc. It's not the worst building we've seen, but we stand ready to finance it.
Yeah.
And our clients ready to take it on. So these are the kind of things that can be easily resolved if City and would just improve its cooperation and collaboration, particularly with invested stakeholders such as ourselves.
Yeah, and as you said, collaboration is essential to addressing these challenges. It's good to see that you're also bringing something to the table and helping with some solutions. Paul Jackson, that's where we'll have to leave it. Thank you for making time.